So it's not that. Yeah, I'm trying to start a fire in my room, but if it happens, it happens. I don't think you should go to sleep with a candle lit. But a candle makes the best nightlight. It's the best nightlight in the world. And I like going to sleep with a little bit of danger. You're kind of like, if this goes south, right? If my room catches fire, that's living on the edge. But yeah, we're going live today. We're going live. Here we go. Oh, I can't leave now? Oh. This whole time, I could have been zooming in. Yeah, we're trying to have a seance right now. It's very difficult to. And I have my spirit box on right now, and that's what you can hear in the back. But it's very difficult to hear the spirits through the noise. But yeah, any minute now, they're sure gonna start talking to the goddamn. Oh, I could have used a different thumbnail. That already worked out. I don't lie. You know, I was live the other day for like an hour. Black screen the whole time. Anyways, I'm trying to get a contact back from whatever the hell's living in my room. Got my spirit box on. It's in the back. Was talking earlier, then it stopped. But these things come and go. Next thing you know, it's talking to you. Something else is growling at you. But all you gotta do, you light a candle, tell them to talk into the candle. If the candle moves, you know there's something there. And I mean that's how the spirits work. It's in books. They've written at least 10 books about it. Um, but yeah, this spirit's been in my room for like 16 years. And what did I place? Oh, I like to place several different things over it. It's not just a candle. It's a kind of attract spirits. Hi, Sla. Whole Flala. Um, oh, green greetings, Verde Vampire. We're trying to conduct a seance here with the ghost that's been living in my home for 16 years. And apparently it died in the Civil War. Thank you. Hi, Perry Wickleton. Perry Winkleton. How are you this evening? Mm, nice. No, it's the label that kind of came off of it. Yeah, but I started getting into candles too. But that's a very expensive thing to be into, candles apparently. Who would have thought candles are so expensive? Then I thought, oh, I'll just make my own candles. Oh, well, how about I just make my own mess while I'm at it? Um, yeah, we're trying to wander through the spiritual world again. I got woken up this evening by something was whispering in my ear, so I decided to conduct a seance. And oh, nice. Well, you have a nice evening up there in Minnesota. Um, but yeah, so I lit up a candle, and like I said, if it flickers, that means that there is a spirit standing there. It's probably blowing on it, trying to put it out. Thank you. God bless you too. Um, Dude, man, yeah, it's crazy. Like it's wax and a wick. How can it be $25? It's ridiculous. And then I thought, well, you can spend the $25 to make your own candles, but then you know you're gonna end up trying to sell them to your friends and family, and it's over. It's over, man. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we're trying to. Thank you so much for the blessings, and bless you too. But hopefully, it was whispering sweet nothings in my ear, and sometimes I try to not try to ignore it, but tonight I figured, you know what, let's do the candle experiment. So you light the candle, and for whatever reason, the spirit comes and they have to blow on it, like it's their birthday or something. And so, make a wish, Gary. I call it Gary, Gary, piece of Gary. Anyways, but it's it's a very real thing, when you're trying to you just want to have your room not smell like shit, but next thing you know, you're gonna spend like $50, $60 on wax. And then and I like, is it safe to sleep with it lit? I think it's safe to sleep with it lit. I do think it keeps the scary dreams away, like having a little piece of fire up. I think it's like a caveman kind of thing, like there's fire in my room, so I must be safe. Okay, if I could start a fire in my room, I would totally do it. I could, like, now I know what you're thinking. Just get a fireplace. No, that's not what I want. I want to start at a fire. If it was possible to just, like, I don't know, man. Like, you have a tiny corner where you can just start fires for shit. Uh, so, I think as long as it was away from the curtains, it's fine. Yeah, well, yeah. So the painting behind it is acrylic, and I figured it doesn't get hot. It's pretty far away. And then I like the way it lights up the typewriter. This is a painting of Ernest Hemingway and Hunter S. Thompson, but we're gonna. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. The last few times I've done this, like, done like talking to the spirits thing, I forgot to light a candle, and I was doing night vision. You guys want to see the night vision camera? Hold on, wait. um, I think I need to turn on the house lights. Sorry. Alright, we're turning on the house lights here. We'll get a nice shot of the painting. Where are the thingy? Oh, we're turning on the house lights here. God dang. Let's see. Well, I can't find my thingy. Anyways, we're gonna turn off the house lights now. There's electric candles? Oh, that makes sense. But anyways, I was using like a little green light whenever I wanted to do like a night vision thing. It was kind of funny for a little bit. But now I haven't streamed in a minute, and I think some of my subscribers did want to talk to me, so I decided to come on. And if you have any questions, I'm here now. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can communicate with the thing in my room right now, though. Um, we're not really sure what it wants. Um, it's always asking me for sugar. It's like it wants a little bit of sugar, and I don't know, like if it wants like a teaspoon of sugar. I don't know, but it's like it'll whisper in my ear, like, "Give me some sugar," and like I'll be trying to go to sleep, and this thing will come, like it'll just like whisper in my ear and be like, "Give me some sugar," and it'll freak me out. And at first I thought it was my neighbor. One time I went over to my neighbor's house and I was like, "Were you in my room asking for sugar right now?" He's like, "What are you talking about? It's 3 o'clock in the morning." And I was like, "Were you in my room asking for sugar?" You get me? Because I thought, you know how neighbors ask for cups of sugar sometimes. So I figured my neighbor had broken into my house to ask for sugar in the middle of the night. But sure enough, it wasn't him. It was whatever's living in my room. It keeps asking me for some sugar. Um, and sometimes it even asks for a spoon. Like it wants a spoon. It's weird. It'll be like, "Let's spoon," and I'll be like, "Whoa, what is that supposed to mean, right?" But it's always asking me for some kind of spoon of some kind. And I don't really know what it is, but um, it this is what goes on now. You get me? I love ranting about nonsense. It's like my favorite thing. It's just coming up with random ass stories. Um, I also have this sick obsession with the paranormal and making fun of the paranormal. No, I don't make fun of it. Do I make fun of it? This is making fun of it. Every now and then I feel I do cross the line with someone's belief and they come on here and they start trying to bless me with their Lord. And I try to be respectful, but I'm like, bro, I was like, this is clearly a joke. I'm just like, I mean, the demon's name is Denise, and you're over here telling me to stop in the name of Jesus. And I'm like, dude, come on, like, get the joke. Like, this is YouTube Live. How can you get angry at me? Uh, but I think most people get it. They roll your eyes and then you just move on with it. But you always get somebody that comes on here and they're like, they take it too real. But tonight is pretty much just chilling, though, really. Um, kind of wanted to just talk, you know what I mean? But favorite thing to do, really, um, once whoever like kind of catches on to what I'm doing, is I'll just start saying some random shit because whoever has stayed on realizes what I'm doing. But then people will come in and they have no clue. And then I'll just start a random ass story there, make it seem like it's completely true. And I'll just try to go until God knows what. But yeah, like watch. I'm gonna just start like in the middle, like just dead middle of a random story. It's my favorite thing. Alright, voice mic try. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, so I was waiting in line at the DMV the other day, and this lady was standing behind me, and she kept kind of bumping into me with her gut. She had like a big old gut, and I turned around and I said, "Hey, can you give me some space? Because it's kind of like you kind of keep bumping into me. It kind of feels like you're trying to bump me out of the line." And she looked at me, and all she did was kind of like this, kind of like a gurgle sound at me, and it felt like she was trying to push me out of the line and take my spot. And I'm like, you can't be bumping into me with your gut like that. And she was like, "Whoa, you got a problem with guts?" And I was like, "What do you?" And like, I didn't even understand what she said, right? So the line kept moving, and when we got to the security, or like to the kind of the doorway of the DMV, the security guard was trying to like ask us like, "Do you have an appointment or no appointment?" Like all that shit. And the lady behind me just bumps me out of the line, just like literally belly flops me out of the line. And she goes, "Oh, I was standing here first." And so I I started arguing with the security guard and her, and I was like, "You saw me come in here. You know that I've been in here." And so the security guard goes, "Oh, listen, sir, this is my wife." Okay, and I was like, well, "Excuse me," and he goes, "Yeah, this is my wife here." Okay, and so you're not gonna talk to her that way or anything. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if she's your wife or not. Like, she shouldn't deserve to cut in line. And so she smelled really really bad, um, and she was huge huge, and so she looked at she like looked at me, and she said that like if I was thinner I would be more attractive, and then maybe I would be loved or something. It was like it was really messed up. It was just very personal, and I was like, dude, that has nothing to do with this. Like, are you're cutting in line right now at the DMV, and the security guard is gonna allow you to do this because apparently he's your husband. And this the security guard was like he was cut too. He was ripped. It was weird, man. He was like ripped. He's like in his 20s, and this lady's like 49, 58 kind of situation. And so I asked. They let her in first, right? And so I'm mad, right? Because now I'm made to wait, and as we're like waiting, everybody's waiting to be up next, right? This lady started getting into an argument with the DMV guy at the counter, and it got so bad that she grabbed his neck, and then the other security guards tried to get involved, but the first security guard was like, "Don't you dare touch my wife! You let her choke him out." And the security guards just stood back, and it was the most horrific thing I've ever seen. Dude, this lady just attacked this poor DMV attendant. We all know, like, God bless the people who work at the DMV. I think they're noble and they're brave, and I think they're really the unsung heroes of our society. So it felt really bad just seeing this lady just completely decimate this guy, and nobody did anything. They didn't intervene. Police didn't come in. That poor guy, man. They just dragged. He fell unconscious when she was done with him. She didn't even say anything. She just kind of kept gurgling and beating him, and oh, it was horrible. And the supervisor just dragged him away from the desk. They didn't even like try to wake him up with some kind of bath salts or anything. Um, and apparently, the lady didn't even need to be there. It wasn't even the month for her to renew her registration. She was early. It was so stupid, man. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that's what happened at the DMV the other day. Yeah, thank you, Noah. It's a true story. Absolutely true story. It's a. I don't think I don't like to abuse whenever I go to the DMV, I take donuts, I take coffee, I take that for everybody. I also take like a boom box so everybody can listen to the music. It turns into a party in there. I don't know why people hate going. If you make an appointment at the DMV, you set up an appointment with some friends, you all meet down there, you hang out, crack open a few beers. It's fun because people have to drive 5 miles an hour at the DMV. I found that out my first driving test because the asshole failed me because of that. But anyways, everybody drives 5 miles an hour at the DMV parking lot, right? So it's the safest place to drink if you think about it. Because if you're like walking, nobody's gonna hit you, and nobody else is lit either. So me and my friends, we'll do that. We'll like schedule like a little meet and greet or stuff like that. It's also nice to do a blind date at the DMV. Oh yeah, watch a movie, watch headphones. Oh well, that's good. I mean, that's a legitimate way to go about it. But no, it's the best. The best part too at DMV, do this. You take some Mexican food, preferably something that can really smell up the entire joint, and yeah, it's a fun time. I think people knock it down, but if you really know how to party, DMV is great. I did want to talk about a camping experience I had though because it's been kind of eating at me for a while. I've been wanting to talk about it, but I think now that it's been a few years, legally I am allowed to talk about it. So just to I don't want to spoil the story too soon, but yeah, my friend, I mean, he's still technically missing, so this is a sensitive story. I mean, I always pray for my friend. I still think about him, but anyways, we were up in the Pacific Northwest. We were camping in a kind of a national forest situation, and we like doing we like doing this, like these survival challenges back in the day. This was like way back. This was like 1986. This was like way back when. You know, some of you kids probably weren't even born yet. You know, and so we were out there in Pacific Northwest, and we had our radio. We were listening to Ronald Reagan on the radio, and we heard in our tent, and we heard some wrestling outside of our tent, like some like something was moving around, and we figured it was some bandits and whatnot. Because usually, like 9 times out of 10, you hear something outside of your window or your tent, it's a bandit. And so I went outside to check, and my friend stayed inside the tent, and I went outside to check, and I was like, I had my lantern, and it was I remember that it was really cold. It was probably like 40 degrees Celsius, and I'll never forget. Like I heard like the sound of someone shivering, and like sounded like they were like asking for help, and like the way they were asking for help was like just like but quivering. That's what it sounded like, right? So I figured they were cold, and somebody had like fallen into a stream or something, and they had found our tent, and then they were like asking for help. But I went towards the direction, like, are you okay? Do you need anything? And so I called for my friend to get a towel. And so and I kept hearing them like kind of quiver. At this point though, I couldn't really understand what they were saying. Like at first I thought they had asked for help, but then I realized like no, there's nothing really like that I can understand. You get me? There's no real words being said. All I can hear is like kind of, and so I'm calling out to my friend to get a towel, right? And my friend doesn't respond. You get me? So I get concerned. So I go back, and I I'm like I go back to the tent, and I noticed that my friend is he's like laying there, but he's not moving anymore. His eyes are wide open, but he's not moving anymore. And I'm trying to like get him like to respond to me, and I'm like, hey, are you okay? And he was breathing or whatever, and I told him, I was like, hey, I think somebody needs a towel, and he wasn't moving like at all, and I was like, dude, there's somebody outside. I think they're having hypothermia. And then like, are you okay, right? First of all. But he's not responding. And I figured now we have probably have like two people with hypothermia in some situation. Anyways, so I start looking for the towels. We didn't have any towels. So I go up to my friend, I go, dude, we need a towel. Like this is bad. And my friend had kind of started coming, like kind of realizing or kind of I guess becoming more awake or whatnot. And he started telling me like that he didn't pack any towels, and that's what made him freak out in that moment, that he didn't have any towels. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have any towels? And he started trying to blame me for not having packed any towels, and I was like, that packing the towels wasn't on me. You get me? Like I packed the meat, I packed the tent, I packed the sleeping bags, I filled up gas. Basically all he had to do was pack the towels. And he starts crying. He starts crying, saying that I always do this. I start blaming him, and I'm like, okay, we need to get something for whoever's outside, right? They're still quivering out there. They're looking, and I still haven't seen the person yet. I only heard their voice, right? And so I tell him, like, you know what? You go outside and you explain to them why there aren't any towels. And he goes, please don't make me go out there. Please don't make me. I'm like, well, you go out there and you tell them that why we don't have towels, you son of a. And so I forced my friend out of the tent. Like I literally had to push him out of the tent because I'm not gonna go outside and explain to that thing why we don't have any towels, right? I mean, it's dying from hypothermia, whatever creature, dark, you know, entity from the abyss of the unknown that it was. It most likely needed a towel, you know, and so I forced my friend outside, and it does live with me to this day. I remember having to tell his family what I heard. It wasn't pretty. I remember having to tell their priest. I was at the wake. I had to tell them about. So basically, my friend went outside. I heard pretty much so the this thing started screaming. Right, it was like it just went full like freaking velociraptor. My friend started trying to call for help, but I was like, you should have packed the towels, right? Because God knows what's out there and what got him. And he's calling me for help, but at that point, I'm safe inside the tent. So either I give up my safety and save my friend, and now we're not here telling the story, or it happens. My friend, that was my friend's job, essentially, and he accepted that responsibility, and we went back out to search for him. We searched for him for a few years, but eventually we did have to give up. And as it goes, no body, no charge. You get me? No body, no charge. So uh, a lot of people don't believe my story. They think that I'm making it up, or that I might have done something to my friend, that maybe I was the one who got wet and I was mad that he didn't pack any towels, so that I did something to him. But um, that's not true. You get me? Like this is how it went down. Thank you, Noah. I believe you too, Noah. Um, and it just goes to show. And you know what? On a real side to all of this, something must have got him. I think so. But on a real note, on the whole thing about packing shit, man, if you go camping with friends, you better trust who you're freaking camping with, because some people are literal dead weight. Like, on a real topic now, man, I went camping with my high school friends like 10 years ago. Real story. We didn't buy wood. We just we went to a place that's called Joshua Tree in California. And it was December. It was like the year that we had graduated high school. And we're like, okay, we're finally all on our own. Somebody has a car. Let's go to a desert in December where it's like 90 to 100 degrees in the daytime, and then like 40 to 30 degrees at night. We barely had any wood. We brought one spoon for four guys. Because from all the shit that we had thought about, the sleeping bags, the tent, the whatever the fuck we needed, nobody thought about utensils. And we were stuck out there for like the better part of a day and a half with, like, we kind of had stuff to eat, but we didn't really have anything to eat it with. Oh yeah, and we didn't have a can opener. Classic, right? And we were running low on wood because we figured, oh, you just buy 3 bundles of wood, right? Because one log keeps you warm. So luckily, my dad came in that trip though. He came in at like the almost halfway through the second day that we were there. He brought some booze and cigarettes, and meat, and a can opener, and it was weird, dude. That was a real situation where, like, I kind of realized two of my friends were relatively useless, and another one was a murdering psychopath. But and then I inadvertently was the one that would cook and clean, because I was like, well, somebody has to fucking cook and clean. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't go camping with people you don't fully trust. Well, I mean, I did trust them. They're your high school best friends, but it's kind of an eye opener of like who you can trust and who you can't trust. Go camping with them. I mean, you really want to put a test on your relationship? Go camping. Because that shit's real. When you're freezing and you're hungry and you're like, ah, shit. And this is a vacation. Like, this is a great vacation. On the topic of putting yourself in survival situations, um, yeah, that's how you see their true self, right? Yeah, it's who's dead weight and who's gonna actually help you out. And I mean, I have stopped talking to them too after all these years. That eventually we just really did kind of move separately because, um, like some people, I get that if you're not interested in the same things, but because you're not interested in the same things, they're gonna try to bring you down for it, and you're like, well, you'll be surprised. I was like very surprised with some conversations that I had with some friends where I realized that because they had failed at most of their stuff, like college and the majority of high school for them, and some more every relationship they've ever been in, whatever dream or whatever goal I had, they always had to like give me a realistic point of view, which just meant belittling or putting down whatever I was thinking about. So like this painting, right? Like that's that's over here. Um, this is a bunch of. This is a long time trying to learn how to paint people, and it's like yeah, I had to give up hanging out with friends for a few nights here and there. Um, I definitely lost a friend one night because Homeboy invited himself over. Thank you so much. That's Hunter S. Thompson and Ernest Hemingway. Um, but yeah, one night I was painting and I had this one guy come over and or no, he wanted to come over. He's a comedian. Or well, I'm a comedian too, but like we're not famous or anything. We're just but homie's trying to invite himself over before an open mic, and I'm in the middle of a paint session. And the thing, I paint with acrylic, and acrylic dries very quickly. And he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm coming over right now. Like, get ready. You know, we're gonna party and all that shit." I'm like, "No, I'm painting." And so he argues with me a little bit. I kind of cut the conversation short a little bit because I don't want to argue while I'm painting. Homie left me a message along the lines of, "Hey, bro, you're just a blank hole. I'm just trying to come over and be your friend, and you're just being a giant blank hole and all of this." And I was like, "What the fuck? What?" Like, at first, and I thought I had been kind of nice with him. I was just telling him like, "Hey, I'm busy. I'm painting right now." And it wasn't really until after he started trying to argue with me that I just kind of cut him off. But homie hated me, and he would talk shit to me to all the other comics for a while until people realized he's an asshole and he's been on coke for the majority of of his freaking career. Yes, it was. Yeah. That shit was real, bro. He even it's funny because when you say that, it's like that's true. Because the time that he got his ass kicked, because he did get his ass kicked bad one time. Not bad, but he got like body slammed. Which one call it? Wrestler style. So this comedian, right? So the story goes as there's three comedians involved. So comedian A, we're gonna say comedian A and comedian B, and then comedian C, right? Okay, so comedian A had a joke from the Bible, right, and involved Jesus getting mud and putting it on a blind man's eyes, and then the blind man can see, right? So the joke, don't look at my towels. So the joke was just kind of saying that for those moments before the blind man had, got his vision back, that Jesus looked like a real a hole. That was the majority of the setup and the punchline from comedian A. Fast forward a few months, comedian B comes around and he does a very similar setup to it, right? And similar punchline and whatnot. Now, comedian C, which is the gentleman I have just been talking about, the asshole that called me an asshole, um, he confronted comedian B with comedian A, outside of a comedy show to be like, hey, you're stealing jokes and shit, right? And so, comedian A kind of did a kind of got a few good swings in terms of like, jokes in, kind of made fun of the other comic's legs. It was pretty, I don't know, from what I heard, the jokes were pretty good, but you have to know the guys. Anyways, at one point, this a hole, we're gonna call comedian C. I don't know. I want to give him a name. What do we call him? We call him, because his name is, we call him Gordo. We're gonna call him Gordo. All right. So Gordo, yeah, Gordo got really mad at comedian B for having stolen the joke, right? And at one point, Gordo slaps, comedian B's cigarette out of his hand, right? So, oh, actually, whoa, we got a little. So you see how Hunter S. Thompson is holding a cigarette there. So think of it as like comedian, Gordo right here, where Ernest would be standing in that direction, slaps the cigarette out of the hand. So the guy that was holding the cigarette grabs Gordo and body slams him on the floor. And Gordo had hits like he hit his head on like some, pipe thing that was sticking out. Freaking the open mic was at a bowling alley, dude. Like, you guys are gonna throw your life away over a joke at a bowling alley. And comedian A, the guy who had originally made the joke, was too much of a blank to even defend themselves or even get involved. It was Gordo who had to fight for him, anyways. So, I, because at the time I was still kind of friends with Gordo, I got his side of the story, but the comedian, the guy that body slammed him, was still noble enough to call the cops on himself that night. Like, he he walked into the bowling alley and he was like, "Hey, I just beat someone up. You need to call the police." It was the weirdest thing, man. The cops came. They didn't arrest anyone. They were just like, well, the guy that assaulted him called the cops on himself, and the guy that got assaulted doesn't want to press any charges. So, and so when we're sitting there, I'm kind of getting the full story, right? So they had confronted this guy as a joke thief, right? That he had stolen this other kid's joke. And the guy's defense, and reality wasn't a good defense, because his defense was, well, you don't even use that joke anymore, which is a big no-no. Like, not a good defense, right? A better defense is what I found out when I read the stupid ass Bible. What I found out is that if you read the Bible, right, that joke, the joke about Jesus looking like an a-hole, it's already there. So the joke that they were saying was Jesus grabs mud, puts it in a blind man's eyes, and for those moments Jesus looks like a blank, like a jerk, right? But in the Bible, 2,000 years ago, whoever the fuck wrote that put the joke in already. Because if you read further down the text, some random villager goes, "Hey, Jesus, what the fuck? Did you just put mud on that blind man's eyes?" And so they both stole the joke, right? So it was, I remember, I remember that moment of like, man, really watch what you fight for, right? And watch who you defend. Because as it turns out, they were both stealing the joke. And this one guy, Gordo, almost went to jail for assault. Oh no, sorry. The other guy, comedian B, went to jail for assault. Gordo forever was known as the bitch that got his ass kicked. But like, the thing is, the guy that kicked his ass, not the toughest guy around. That's the thing. You get me? Like, yeah, he was big, he was heavy set, but you wouldn't think he's the type to body slam you. And you would think that Gordo would have had more body mass and a little bit more like, I don't know, more capable to not let yourself get picked up and body slammed. That's a weird thing, right? Like that happens in wrestling because it's planned. Like they rehearse that shit. But to be standing there, you slap some guy's cigarette out of his hand and then he grabs you and body slams your ass. And I remember hanging out with this fool after his ass kicking, and I'm sitting there going like, wait, I'm hanging out with the loser. Like, you started it like the Gordo, like he's slack first. He's the first one to make contact, and then he got his ass kicked. And the idiot that you were defending wasn't even like the joke wasn't even worth like fucking getting into it for. But man, I'll never forget that idiot. Um, it's funny. Not to talk too much trash though, but I think live my lives don't really count. But I'm not gonna say his channel's name. But I mean, we all do progress at our own pace, right? We all we all have success at our own pace, and I don't like comparing and shit. But my channel's been up for about 3 months or so. His shit's been up for 10, 13 years, and it's I think it comes across how many subscribers you get, or at least how many people want to really connect with you, the type of person you are. And I mean, I learned that now teaching college firsthand, but it now in comedy, if you're not likable, people will pick up on that almost immediately. Like I think for me, what I would hope if somebody doesn't like me, it's because I'm annoying. Okay, if I think that's an acceptable reason to not like me. What I would hope I'm not doing is like really hardcore offending people half the time. Like that's never my intention. But it's funny when I do start getting on these rants with talking about like the devil or like spirits and shit, because you do end up offending sometimes some people. But this painting came out so dark, and it's like I painted it during a very difficult time too. But this is the thing, and this is what I was telling, like why I got frustrated with that guy. I was painting with acrylics, and acrylics are such is so touch and go. Oh, by dark I meant like the tone, not the context or the matter. It's called I forgot what it was called. Oh, it's called page. Turn the page. I forgot what it is, but it's like a page in a story. That's what the painting is. But it's one of my favorite paintings. It's just that it didn't really come out as good, or as like I guess well lit as I wanted it to. Man, that sucks on camera. But yeah, this is damn hippies, and again we have just a weird lighting situation. There's a painting right here in a corner, and I'm refusing to show it on camera. It's just kind of a rule that I have to never show that particular painting on um, any kind of picture. I don't know. It's just been a running kind of gag in here. So it's just anybody who does actually come into my room gets to see it. But that is my first painting, and I refuse to take a picture of it, mainly out of like the fact that so much of your life is online. I like to know that one thing in my life is not online. Like there's just one thing that a few people have seen. Thankfully, one of them was a girl that I or a woman. Uh, but it this right here is a map of my imagination. Does this work if I go like this? Right. Anyways, um, all right. I'm glad that I did a real rant there for a while. I haven't talked shit about that asshole for a while. That dickhead's been going around talking so much shit about me, and he names me by name. He's like been on podcasts and shit, and he'll like call me an asshole just because of that one time that I didn't let him come over. And it's been years. I don't even know why I started ranting about him, but uh, yeah, it's been a few years. Anyway, sorry guys, we're trying to start a seance here. We had some activity coming in right now. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, okay. Now we're a lot more stable right now. So we're gonna try to conduct a little interview right now with whatever's in this room.
Um, can you speak clearly into the mic um, after I ask the question? So we're just gonna ask what it wants, what its intentions are, where it comes from. Where are you from? So we're just waiting for a response here. Can you make a noise to let us know that you're here? Can you tell us where you're from?
San Clemente.
Okay, we got some yeah, we got something there. We got a little bit of something there, but we're not too sure. So anyways, yeah, I've been doing that for the last few streams. There's a few lives on here. No, if you're still on here, there are a few other lives on my channel where it is just that because I thought it was too fucking funny. As a comedian, there are some things I just cannot do on stage because it's too stupid and complicated, and you kind of have to be there. So, um, the fascination of coming on live and doing something random and stupid is just it scratches a certain itch for doing stand up that is it was unexpected. But yeah, there's a few live streams on my channel where I am like doing a full on paranormal investigation, but treat it more like a podcast rather than something you should sit and watch. Because it's, yeah, just something you should listen to rather than sit and watch. Because it's just, the camera is just pointed at a water heater half the time, and it's really more about what's going on in the background. The way I've treated it is almost like the old school way of radio shows, like from the 1920s, where you just kind of hear what's going on in the background. So I was doing like this paranormal investigation shit for a while, but I didn't want like the jokes to get stale either, because that to me is a worst crime. But yeah, so I cooled off. Then I got busy with my personal life, and that shit gets real, right? When all you want to do is be a stupid YouTuber, but then you have to like do real shit in your real life. Like that's not cool. You get me? That is not cool at all. But yeah, we might have a video on that coming up. On why did Chaotic Industries stop posting for a few months? I wonder why. I sort of fucking sorry. Um. Anyways, to the insomniacs out there, I think that's really what this is dedicated for, is the people that can't go to sleep when they're supposed to. Um, like the worst freaking feeling in the world, but it's nice. I feel that it's nice to have a good laugh before you go to sleep, and so yeah, if I get to make somebody else laugh along the way of me being a fucking idiot, then by all means. But alrighty then, I'm gonna be closing this one out though, sir. I think I'm pretty much done on my rant here. What I do most of the time is paint and draw on the live stream. I think tonight I just didn't feel like dealing with it out there, and I figured might as well derp around randomly, see what happens. But yeah, appreciate you for tagging along. And yeah, I'm gonna start streaming a lot more regularly again, and then I will start trying to post legitimate videos pretty soon. But yeah, by legitimate I mean stupid. There's no niche to this. This channel is about being funny and dumb. So yeah, all right. Appreciate you, bro. Y'all have a good ones.